Hello humans, welcome back to another video, and I bought a Chromebook, and for anyone who's pays attention to a bunch of my streams or anything like that, you'll be very surprised by this, because, well, what you normally hear is Chromebooks have crappy specs, they have no RAM, and at school you can't do anything on them literally, but this one, very special. So this is a Acer Spin 713, so it's a 2-in-1, and it's completely different than even like a mid-range laptop from this time, because it has way better screen. And this is cursed. It has a Core i7 processor in it, and I am not the person who would ever decide to keep chromeos on it, so I'm probably going to do a walkthrough later, but I put Bazzite on it. So I kind of want to give the specs of the Chromebook first, so it actually makes sense on why I bought it. So it was $110. It has a i7 something U. That's a 15-watt processor. It only has 4 cores, which is less than like a i7-9750H, which I could have found on like Hertz laptops or laptops that just have bytes taken out of them. But I wanted this Chromebook specifically because you can actually put a proper SSD in it. So it has M.2 storage right now, and it's only 256 gigs, but that's enough for what I need for school. Then it has a 2-in-1 mode, and it actually supports pens natively, which is really nice. I bought a pen for it a while ago. It is completely incompatible because, well, there's no way to charge it. And this laptop actually has 16 gigs of RAM, which is almost unheard of on a Chromebook. And also, I'm interested in what Chromebooks will be in like 3 years with the used market, because there's ones that are coming out with AMOLED screens. So that's a really good thing. And also they're 120 hertz. And I think this can go all the way up to 2 terabytes of storage, and it's a PCIe 3x4 thing. Then what I also found interesting is the USB-C ports are actually really good. So it's Thunderbolt 3 on both sides, so it can do like 4K 120 hertz displays. SD card slot, headphone jack, USB 3.0, 5 gigabits per second. Then I hate this HDMI port because it can only go at 1440p at 60 hertz or 4K at 30. This technically has external GPU support. And also, I think it's like a 1500 by 2306 screen. It's 3x2, which I don't like. It's way too wide. But like if I'm remoting in my desktop or something, you don't even have to full screen most stuff because everything is cropped for 16:9. So that means you just don't have to worry about anything, which is super weird. I don't even have to crop. It's 16:9. This actually has really good colors in the screen. It's an IPS. And the thing I have with this battery indicator is actually quite right. So it will actually last like 8 hours on a charge, which is really good. The only problem I have with this Chromebook specifically is it takes 3 or 4 hours to recharge. Then it will not last very long at all if you have it at performance mode. But like, let me go to speedometer, and I go here, and it will actually go really quite fast once the CPU starts turboing. And also, another thing I noticed with this laptop is when the fans are at low RPM, since they can't stop, it just sounds like a lawnmower. Okay, 15.5. The screen actually gets pretty bright. And also, you can put it at 0. I don't like this with Bazzite. You can put the screen at literally 0%. You can see me. You can't see the screen. It's because the backlight is off. I don't really know how many people like this. The keys can be backlit. I honestly never use it. It's just extra battery, and I don't really do this as much anymore, but when I used to code a lot in school, I used an external keyboard, so it just doesn't make sense. These keys, I can tell they're a bit smaller than standard keyboard keys, but the keyboard on this is fine. Like, there's not that much deck flex or anything. And also, this trackpad's quite nice. It has a glass top. And since my other laptop also has a glass top, when I, like, tested a gaming laptop at, like, Best Buy, the plastic build, like, oh my god, it's super duper bad. And also, it claims Wi-Fi 6, so I can like show a speedtest.net, and it won't be getting gigabit speeds because I'm in my room right now, but it'll be going pretty fast. I've seen it go up to like 700 megabytes before, so it's actually doing that gig plus thing they advertised. And also it's doing exactly 50.87 upload. That's really fun. I think for whatever this performance is would be fine for people who are just like browsing a bunch, and that's exactly what I do. And also, well, it's Bazzite, so you can just open it. I have Ultra Kill. When anything like super big happens, it's going to be extremely laggy. But the thing that it can open it at all, that's actually good. That's good. So I would assume that it would be able to run stuff like Portal pretty well. I don't game on this whatsoever. This is specifically just my school laptop. But like, I know people who actually know me for my Scratch stuff. I'm going to like open one of my Scratch projects and you just see the FPS counter and they're like, oh, it's fine. Like, what the hell? It's not centered. I mean, it's actually technically better to be like that, but I do not like that. Then you full screen it like properly, then it takes up most of the screen. Why was that at 150%? And also Bazzite is weird because it like always shows all 5 devices. I need to figure out which devices. Oh yeah, we gotta deep fry it. We gotta deep fry it. These speakers are way better than my Ioneo. Like, I don't like that fact because I feel like a handheld should have better speakers than a Chromebook, to be honest. So, you see, it's running pretty well. Like, 240 right now. It can actually run FNF. Wow! Who would have guessed ever? The only problem I have with FNF is the display isn't more than 120 FPS, so like, well, you can't really go that fast if it's not over 120 FPS. Honestly, like, besides, like, having weird things with public Wi-Fi where I have to go to a special site, it's not as fancy as whatever, like, public access site that you normally get. I've had no issues with this laptop whatsoever. Like, this has been very stable. Bazzite is very easy to use. I had to install a different skin before because it was just wrong, but... And also, I can't figure out how to, like, run Windows software or whatever, or do FNF, but that's for later, and also, I don't really want to game on this anyway, so does it matter? Not really. And also, in the end, like, 90% of Steam games, like, if you just want to play Stardew Valley on this thing, it'll do it. Because if it can do FNF, and it can technically do Ultra Kill, I'm pretty sure Stardew Valley is less demanding than that. Well... Now I'm going to show you a walkthrough on how to put Bazzite or any other Linux distro on this. Hopefully I explain it pretty well because I've already done it. I'm going to look at another walkthrough to do the walkthrough so it's better. Transition. Okay, so first thing you need to go on if you want to do a modification like I did for your Chromebook that you own, first thing you gotta check is, like, make sure that your device is x86. They don't have ARM support yet. Certain Linux distros don't have ARM support. 70% of AMD or Intel CPUs will work, but it's kind of spotty, so you actually want to check the supported devices list before you do anything else. Then you gotta find that, and I did this procedure like 30 minutes after I bought the device. I didn't even have a Google account connected. I didn't need it yet. So I did not need to do backing up any important data. Then how I went to developer mode, I'm pretty sure what I did was there's a terminal in Chrome OS. It doesn't matter if you're a guest or not. Then you put in this weird command that's going to be on screen right now. Or wait, no, and also before that, you like restart the Chromebook. You press pretty sure it would be the power button and the restart button at the same time. Then it's going to prompt you, do you want to recover this disk? Then I'll just show the keybind. It will reboot after 15 seconds. Then you'll be actually in developer mode. This will reset everything. This is why you don't do it if it's a school device. It'll screw up everything. Then you want a USB flash drive if you want to back up anything. And also, if you need to install another operating system, if you're trying to install another operating system, so you might want a flash drive for that. They say 8 plus is recommended. Then, yeah, you would want another laptop or something. Then, it took me like 4 hours to do this just because I couldn't figure out stuff. What we're doing is the UEFI full ROM replacement. Okay, so how you open terminal when you want to do this, you press Control Alt F2 at a login screen. Log in as Chronos, that's the shell thing. Then you do this command, which if you just put it into a web browser, this website just downloads a little script. Then what you want to do is install / update UEFI full ROM from the script menu. When prompted, create a backup of your stock firmware. This is in case if something blows up, you're not screwed. So it goes on the USB drive. You need this backup if you want to ever restore it. I do not have the backup, so I'm not going to restore ChromeOS, but have that as a note if you, like, for some reason want it. Follow the prompts to complete the firmware flash, power off the device. Do not reboot. If you disconnected the battery, reconnect it now. And also, for my specific laptop, for this to actually work, I had to disconnect the battery. Some older laptops has this, like, physical hardware thing. So, with certain laptops, to disable the write protection, you have to jump 2 pins on the motherboard somewhere. So most of the time, if you have like a Chromebook from like 2013, 2015, you'll have to physically open it, then do that. And also, I'm pretty sure my Chromebook was from like 2021. So it's around like 2020. I don't, so like now you have to disconnect the battery. The time frame varies, but first search up what specific Chromebook you have and see what you need to do to make it so the write protection isn't on anymore. And power up, and you can do Windows perfectly fine. It just unlocks the OS fine. It's literally an i7 CPU, so if I wanted to put Windows 10 on it, I could have. Then this Mr. Chromebox.tech thing is quite useful. I should have actually used it instead of yelling at Gemini, because it has a bunch of this. I don't know how well I explained it since I didn't really record the process of me doing it, but if you want like specific help, check this website. It's very useful. And also, if you want specific Chromebook guide help, there's a bunch of stuff on eBay, which is like $80. So there's like Lenovo ThinkPads that are Chromebooks that have Ryzen 5 3500U processors in them. Pretty decent. I would stay away from it because it's only 8 gigs of RAM. Then the other Acer Spin 713s, they're a bit more expensive. Mine had like 3 dead pixels in it. That's why it was slightly cheaper. So like this one is $189. Then i5 10th gen, it is 256 gigs of storage. It's an i5 10th gen, basically the exact same CPU as the i7. It just slightly downclocked. I got the i7 just because I was fine with spending an extra like $20 on it. There's only like 3 Chromebooks that actually have 16 gigs of RAM, but if you can find it, that's the only reason I'd ever buy a Chromebook, because it is just a row of chips. So you cannot replace anything on the Chromebook. What kind of laptop that you could get for under $200? That it has a way better CPU, 5625U laptop. Again, there might be bytes taken out of it, but so is it parts not working because somebody took a bite out of it? I think it's parts not working because somebody took a bite out of it. Yeah, these laptops specifically are going out in droves. Well, but I kind of wish I bought one of these. It has like the little fingerprint scanner on it. Yeah, the issue with these business laptops is the base and mid-tier models offer poor, like 45% color accuracy is terrible. And I'm pretty sure that is for, yep, that's for the standard one. So why people freak out so much about when they see OLED is because even if they're going back from an old like gaming monitor from like 6 years ago, why it's so bad is because it has like a 40% color accuracy for it. Like color calibration might be correct, but what that means is you're getting half the colors you should. I think I've done a pretty good summary of like cheap laptops people should get. If you have any questions, obviously ask them in the comments. This should be about it for this video. Subscribe if you want to see a review of my laptop. Bye!